Hi, my name is Robert Shelley, and I'm an attorney with Chelle Law, and my law firm assists physicians with employment contract issues. Today I'm going to talk about a broad topic: how are physicians compensated? So there are a whole bunch of different ways in which physicians are compensated, and I'll just kind of walk through each one of them. So the easiest way that a physician is compensated is just through a straight base salary. They would receive a certain amount just like any other employee, and they do the work. They get paid on the biweekly basis or whatever the employer's payment structure is, and that's it. There's no bonus opportunity, no productivity incentives. It's just straight base, do the work and move on. That's the simplest way of doing things. I would say certainly productivity is worked into a large amount of employment contracts nowadays, especially with physicians in hospitals or health networks. Those organizations generally will provide an income guarantee, meaning like the physician will receive a set guaranteed minimum salary for a period of time, usually 2 years. And then after that 2-year period, then their compensation will then be some kind of productivity-based arrangement, usually based upon RVUs. So straight base salary is the first one. Second one, hourly. If the physician does shift work, so ED, hospitalist, maybe critical care, ICU, in that case, many times it can be paid an hourly rate, and that's very simple. You get paid, per hour, the amount that you work, and that's what you take home, and that's the end of it. A little more complicated of a system would be, as I stated before, some kind of productivity model. So there can be a hybrid where the physician will make a guaranteed minimum base, and then they'll either be either bonused based upon their productivity, or just their base compensation is tied to that as well. And there's usually two ways that those are calculated. One is net collections, and one is RVUs. So first, net collections. Net collections are used mostly by private physician-owned groups. Most physician-owned groups do not use RVUs, and almost no hospital would use net collections. So if you have a net collections based agreement and it's a hybrid, then there would be some minimum salary amount that the physician would receive every pay period, and then they would also get a bonus based upon their net collections, meaning how much money the practice brought in. The physician would then get a percentage of that. Now, there's two ways of handling that as well. One, if it's just straight net collections, meaning they get a percentage of what's collected, that's usually somewhere between 30 to 40%, sometimes up to 45. If it's a hybrid, meaning they have a base salary, then most employers would say once the physician covers their base salary, so let's just say they're making $240 a year, they're getting $20,000 a month. Once they were, collected $20,000, then anything above that they would get a percentage of. In that scenario, usually it's somewhere between 15 to 25%. If it's an RVU-based productivity model, and as I said before, this is mostly with hospitals and health networks. Once again, the physician could have a minimum base salary, and then they would get bonuses based upon their RVUs. So if they generate a certain amount of RVUs, usually quarterly, sometimes monthly, then they would just multiply the RVUs over that base amount times what's called a compensation factor. Usually that's somewhere between $35 to $80, depending upon specialty. And then the physician would then be paid out the bonus based upon their RVU production. A normal way of doing that would be, let's just say it's someone's in primary care and their annual expectation is 6,000 RVUs. So if it was quarterly, then that would mean they're expected to generate 1,500 RVUs a quarter. And then any RVU generated over that amount, they would be bonused by multiplying however many RVUs times the comp factor. And primary care, I don't know, I'd say probably usually somewhere between $40 to $50. So that's kind of a hybrid model. And then some can also be compensated purely on RVUs, meaning they only get paid what they produce. So they would just take their RVU production per month and then multiply, what they generated times the comp factor, and that's what they would receive. In those scenarios, there usually would be some kind of agreed upon draw. So there'd be some amount, let's just, they're making $10,000 a month as a guaranteed draw. And then whatever they produced above that, they would receive. If they produced less than that, then the negative balance would be carried forward into the next month, quarter, year, whatever. So those are kind of the different ways physicians are compensated. They can also be compensated through bonuses. So either discretionary bonuses from the employer, signing bonuses, relocation bonuses. They can be compensated that way as well. Sometimes there's student loan repayment. You can kind of consider that compensation as well. There's a variety of ways of doing it. I mean, as somebody who's been doing this for 20 years, it blows my mind like how many different ways to compensate physicians there are. Some are better than others, but certainly there's no one standard way. Anyway, hopefully that's helpful. If you have any questions, give us a call. The phone number is listed below in the description, or you can contact us through our website, ChelleLaw.com, CHELLE law.com, and appreciate you watching the video. Thanks.